Look at us. Are we just so overwhelmed with all of the noise that's happening in the world right now? Not so long ago, I can remember feeling this same sense of overwhelm while I was raising my children, running a business, and I was watching my father's health rapidly decline. There was so much noise in my head, and the mind chatter, it was so much that it blocked out what my heart and my gut were telling me to do. Have any of you ever felt this overwhelmed before? So there I was, feeling anxious, constricted, and like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. And what I realized was that all of the noise was clogging my channels, and it was stopping me from receiving the most powerful and important information that I could receive. So, how do we find our way when there's so much noise? And when we need clarity, how do we find this when we're drowning in input, information, and overload from the media and well-meaning people around us? The American Psychological Association says 86% of people report checking emails or text often or constantly, while 45% of the world's population use social media an average of 2 hours and 23 minutes a day. Pew Research says we've gone from 5% usage in 2005 to 72% in 2019 of social media. And this is astounding. Forbes says that we are exposed to between 4,000 and 10,000 ads per day. That's unbelievable. So what's happening when we are so inundated with this external information and stimuli? Our neurological system simply cannot process it. The senses gather some 11 million bits per second from the environment, but the conscious mind can only process 50 bits per second. So it's no wonder we're overwhelmed. Maybe you have even caught yourself feeling a little guilty and overwhelmed, scrolling through your phone while you're not paying attention to your job, your children, and your bigger dream of what you want in your life. Just maybe you're busy looking around you, listening to what others are telling you, and not paying attention to your own instinct, gut feelings, and your heart. The thing is, we get numb and we tune out when we are not listening. We turn down that dial on the inner knowing that really knows the way. Intuitive guidance comes from a place of knowing without conscious reasoning, and that's what makes it so cool. And it is your green light. And right now, it's trying to get your attention at this very moment. Albert Einstein said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant but yet has forgotten the gift. So today I am here to ask you, have you forgotten yours? How can you use your gift of intuition to quantum leap into the next level of what you want in your life, your business, finances, relationships, your career? You see, we can't escape the noise. It's a feature of the universe. But how do we tune out the noise so you can hear your intuition? What your intuition is a gut feeling, a whisper of knowing. It's a feeling inspired or having something deep inside that just won't go away. And it can feel like an aha moment that comes in out of nowhere. Your intuition is faster than the thinking mind and possibly more reliable. But what your intuition is not is making decisions out of fear, what other people tell you to do, or the negative, noisy voices inside of your head. So why am I the one telling you this? At an early age, I knew what it felt like to grow up with lots of noise. My father was an alcoholic, and after having a parent that was addicted to alcohol, it came with many things. One of them feeling unstable and uncertain, certainly at the forefront. And even if you don't have a parent as an alcoholic or grew up in an unstable environment, I can tell you, we probably all know what this feels like now after dealing with current times in the world. But as a child, I learned to not trust myself enough. And I'm sure some of you can relate to the self-questioning that can happen in your minds. And because of that, I became disconnected from my intuition, and I became numb. So I struggled. I found myself checking off all the boxes, doing what I thought I should do, but I wasn't happy. I jumped from one relationship to the next. I landed in a job that I didn't love. I was so busy listening to everything around me that I couldn't hear the voice inside of me, and I was so unhappy. I was ready for an exit. And one day, out of nowhere, a voice said, enough. It was clear, it was simple, and it was true. And I heard myself for the first time with great clarity. And that small voice inside was my intuition trying to get me to listen. So today I stand here after healing old wounds, digging through the pain of the past, and pushing through to the other side, knowing with full clarity that I might not even be here today if it wasn't for what I now know. You see, I made intuition my superpower that day, and it can become yours as well. What I know from working with thousands of people now on meeting their life goals and growing their businesses is when they empower their intuition, they create results. Using your intuition will accelerate, expand, and open new doorways and opportunities for you. But it also might mean that you have to walk away from something that's no longer serving you. So, are you ready to hear your truth? See, the best part about intuition is that you don't need to know the how. You don't need to know the answers, because when you have intuition as your superpower, it will show you the way. And yes, I can hear some of you wondering, okay, this sounds great, but how do I tune into my own intuition? You see, your intuition has always been there for you, and you've heard it many times. For instance, some of us have had an imaginary friend growing up, and I had Dee Dee. She lived in a brown oak cupboard, and I would knock, and she would come out, and we would talk, and I would listen. And as a child, it was easy to listen to yourself because you knew what you wanted, and you knew what was true. So imagine today inviting that little you back in, having that little you by your side, guiding you on your next steps in life. Then your job is to take action on the whispers, the nudges, and the gut feelings that come up for you. So let's unpack this so you can claim this today. Number one, tune in by tuning out. Turn off the social media, cut back on what you're listening to, and carve out that quiet time so you can hear your voice. The mind chatter needs to quiet down, and meditation, walking in nature, and creating downtime in your routine can help you with that. Some of the best shifts in my life came from simple moments where I could hear myself think. I have a client who credited this one step with being able to double her revenue in a year, as well as create her own business. Step two, look for the signs. This is one of my favorite steps, and often I teach students that if you're getting intuitive hits about things and you don't listen, they'll keep showing up in different ways. Look for patterns, repeating thoughts, and pulls in certain directions. Pay attention when you feel something. And know that things, when they pop in out of nowhere, it's the universe trying to get your attention. Remember, intuition doesn't come from logic or reason, and that's what makes it so cool. When you receive these intuitive hits, your step 3 is to write it down to build it up. I keep paper within reach, and when these moments, quiet realization come in, I write things down. It's a powerful, simple step. And it takes our inner reality and puts it into an external reality, which means that it can manifest. And that's the goal. And step 4 is once you write down your aha moments and your intuitive hits, you give it permission. Stop looking around, right, for people to give you the permission that you already can claim for yourself. It's your superpower. Say yes, listen to it. And if you're getting intuitive hits, you can trust yourself that they're real. You know, in 2000, I went across the country and I moved, and everyone thought I was crazy. And if I hadn't have done it that day, if I hadn't have made that decision, I wouldn't have met my husband to create the life that we now have. So it's a very powerful tool. Listen to your gut. The truth is that the older we become, we leave our imaginary friends behind. After all, what would people think? And so I gradually tuned Dee Dee out and the wisdom that she brought. And standing here, I wonder how much stress I could have spared myself if I had kept listening and kept her close. That bad boyfriend, that wrong job, that dead-end road, could Dee Dee have saved my struggles if I were really still listening? And what if not listening and leading you down the wrong path, creating unnecessarily stress and turmoil? What if the recognition today as your intuition as a gift led you to the biggest breakthroughs in your relationships, your health, your career? And what if listening to that superpower inside of you will lead you undoubtedly into your happiest and most fulfilling life? You see, I'm asking you, what do you really want? We're all born with a destiny and a purpose, and how far we get in achieving this is all up to you, and if you choose to listen to that voice. Today is the first step. No matter who you are, what you've achieved, or what you have not, it is the first step to honor that little voice, to pay attention to what it says, and to begin strengthening this muscle so that your life is guided into your destiny. Tapping your intuition is your birthright, and it unleashes the knowingness and the brilliance of the right steps to take and the ones that are truly meant just for you. Your intuition is the most powerful tool and resource you have. It is like a secret power and your green light. With time and practice, you will learn to trust it more and more. Building your intuition, it will guide you through life like a best friend that has your back. Your intuition is truly the catalyst to quantum leap your life. Thank you.